Hi everyone, welcome back to the Book Brood. Erin and Heidi here, and we're going to be doing a small book haul. So, we still have a ton of credit at our used bookstore that we love to go to, so we've just been slowly picking up some things.
Yes, using that up slowly but surely.
Yeah.
It'll be gone before we know it.
Yeah. So the first thing I grabbed was Americanah by Chimamanda Ngozi... I'm gonna mess this up. Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. I think that's how you pronounce that. So I have really been wanting to read some of her work. She is a Nigerian-American author, and she writes stories about Nigerian-American characters, and it seems to be a common thread for me this year, that I'm really enjoying those kind of stories. So this one is about a family who moves from Nigeria to the U.S., and for the first time they have to deal with the ideas of being other, of being black, and what that means in the U.S. versus what it meant in Africa.
Yeah.
So I think that it is going to be very interesting. It is set in modern day, so I think 9/11 happens, like, after they've been in New York for a little while, and the country just went absolutely crazy, and so this is going to be absolutely fascinating, I think.
Yeah. And then the first one I got is this very beat-up copy of Island by Aldous Huxley. This is the counterpoint to Brave New World. This is a utopian story. I don't know much else about that. I don't know if this is directly connected to the islands that they talked about in Brave New World, but I'm very interested to see what this has to offer here, because I did enjoy Brave New World a lot. I think is an amazing story, and there's a lot of parallels to what's going on in the world today.
The next thing I picked up is The House on Mango Street by Sandra Cisneros, and I heard Books and Lala talk about this. She read it for Diversathon, and she read a few quotes from it, and it sounded absolutely amazing. So this is a short collection of vignettes about what it was to grow up in the Latino sections of Chicago, and for some reason I'm thinking this happened in the 70s, but I don't know for a fact. But it sounds like feminism and multiculturalism and coming of age short stories, and it sounds really fantastic.
It was actually assigned reading for me
in
a college drawing class, actually. I remember it was pretty good. I don't remember much about it. It's good. All right. The next thing I got is Julian Maze, The Golden Torque. This is the sequel to The Many-Colored Land. It's the second in the saga of the Pliocene Exile. This is one where half the main characters were dropped 3/4 of the way through the first book, The Many-Colored Land. And so I'm very interested to see where this book takes them. Hopefully it focuses more on them, because I was very much interested in their side of the story by the end of The Many-Colored Land. It was kind of... not that the other character's story was, boring or anything. It was very exciting, but I needed to know what happened to some of the other characters in this book, so I will be getting to that eventually.
Sure. Okay, the next thing I grabbed is The Plague by Albert Camus. Camus? I think he's French. Okay. So I think it's Camus.
Right.
And I have not read anything by him yet, but I definitely want to. I know the Hardback Hoarder highly recommends him, as well as a ton of other people, but this one is about the plague in North Africa and how awful it was, and it's basically I'm assuming it's a book about suffering and all of the crazy psychological things that happens to a large group of people when something horrible like this, horrible, unpredictable, you have no control over the situation.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really hard to read, I think, but really fantastic.
And the last thing I got is Connie Willis's To Say Nothing of the Dog. This is the second in the Oxford Time Travel stories. The first one, Doomsday Book, I've read and I really enjoyed it. And this one is supposedly a lot better, so I'm excited to get to that one eventually. Don't know much about it, but I'm expecting great things.
Nice. I picked up a copy of Hatchet by Gary Paulson for a family read about the young boy who gets stranded in the Canadian wilderness and has to survive. And I definitely want to read that with the kids at some point.
Is this next one a family read too?
No, it's not. No, but for some reason they had volume 2 of Anita Blake Guilty Pleasures, and I'm like, it was so random that they would have the one I needed. But I am excited to get back into this, and I think the art style is really growing on me, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
And that's what we got.
That's our little book haul. So go ahead and tell us what you think. Tell us what you've bought recently, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.